Hey y'all, welcome to Right Choice Shearing. My name is Katie and today we're going to be tackling an overgrown male Appaloosa llama. He's 4 years old and has never been shorn. Our biggest struggle today is going to be the heat, so I'm going to try to get in there and work as quickly and efficiently as possible, but he is wild, definitely not halter broke, and I have no idea what to expect. But I've got sharp gear, no fear, so let's get out there and shear.
I came into the job with no bruises, so we'll get to know which ones came from this job. Turn around, buddy.
In this version of the video, I'll be voicing over. If you're interested in just his shearing, go ahead and click on the link in the description. As I said before we began, this guy is as feral as they come and certainly not halter broken.
He's got burrs in them. Yeah, I should have grabbed the sleeve.
When handling an animal that's not used to human contact, the biggest key is having control of the energy exchange. Everything has to remain calm, and that starts with the handler being calm. Thankfully, for never having a haircut, he's not the worst I've seen. In my experience, all llamas are highly intelligent, but some end up more scared than others. His demeanor will prove to be beneficial during his first time. He's paying attention to what I'm doing and taking it all in for himself. That's great because the debris in his coat is definitely slowing me down. But once I get past the junk, he can feel me on his skin. I imagine it's quite shocking to feel something against your skin when the last time probably would have been when he was a baby. Him being a male works against me in every way in this situation. Llamas fight by going after each other's legs, so if I allow this stuff to start touching it, he's gonna start freaking out. I'm cutting through the armpit mats to free up what would have been his blanket if it was healthy. Now I'm relying on my offhand to hold these mats out of the way and off of his legs to hopefully prevent a blow up from a little bit of fear. As I shear towards his belly, it's common for llamas to get more sensitive, and I'm forced to follow his lead on this part. A bit of work to remove these hip mats and he's free of the first chunk. Now we're left to rinse and repeat on the other side. It's a rather hot Texas day at just a few notches under 100 degrees, so my main concern during this shearing is getting it done fast so we can get back out to the pasture. Every animal only has so much patience to give me on shearing day. Then it's left to me to maneuver that patience to get as much off as efficiently as possible. This is the part of the video where I preach about shearing every animal every year. This guy's ancestors came from the mountains of Peru and don't belong in the Texas heat, but they are here and we need to take care of them. When shorn on a proper schedule, there are many uses for this fiber, including yarn. But with all of this matting and debris, the only good use for this is garden mulch or erosion control. At exactly 2 minutes into our shearing, we have removed the second biggest chunk. But the barrel of a camelid is the easiest part. It only gets more difficult from here. As I work my way down his first back leg, I'm very conscious of my energy, hoping not to affect him and to keep him calm. There's always a deep breath when the leg falls off and there's been no contention. He even lets me clean it up, which I find amazing. Although he is quite a sight when he is shaved down, shearing these animals is not about beauty. It's about sustainability. Llama fiber has less of an insulative effect and more of a trapping of heat, like a vacuum. The longer it grows, the more difficult it is for them to maintain a safe body temperature. And when you already have an animal who's struggling to thermoregulate, getting them worked up can be a detriment. The faster their heart beats, the hotter their body gets, and if their body gets too hot, it becomes heat stressed, my #1 concern. And now he's starting to get worked up. He does not want me touching his legs, so I move to a different part of the body. My unbroken attention serves two purposes. He learns his movements didn't stop me, and I can continue my work and get him back to the pasture faster. I'm glad he decides to stand because a laying llama is more drama than any of us need. But his maneuvers has caused too much slack in the rope, so I stop what I'm doing to make some adjustments so that we're both in a safer situation. The more slack in the lead, the more he can move his head, and that'll allow him to work himself up unnecessarily. So now that he's snug, I'm going to give the other back leg a try. Once you've experienced an increase in energy during shearing, you have to tiptoe around to make sure that you don't get to that same energy twice. The goal for any animal's first shearing, whether they are a baby or a mature adult, is to end with them standing and having had an overall good experience. I see these animals for 15 minutes or less a year. I need it to be something that we can build on in the future so that they and I can have a good experience every time we come out. Every move I make is either judged by an animal in fight or flight, or one that's paying attention. Every blow of my shears is either making or breaking that relationship. So when the task of shearing becomes unnecessarily complicated by years of overgrowth, each second spent on it is mentally draining. And just at 5 minutes, we removed the last of the major chunks. But what's left for me to clean up are all things sensitive. Now is when the decade and a half of experience needs to kick in. I could not give a flying duck if this guy is pretty or not. I'm focused on his behavior and his body language. He's rightfully pissed. If I let his middle school up-down tactics stop me, then he's going to learn that's how he gets out of the situation and do it more. I continue my dance by moving up his neck, gently moving his ears out of the way so I can shear. I do my best to remain calm while he's worked up, but I don't have control over everybody's energy.
Don't yell while we're over here. If you need to talk to him, it'd be better over there.
My technique with Llama was developed in the mind of a 14-year-old. I spent the second half of my life honing that skill. A llama this size could totally boot a freshman in high school. My only option was to learn to work with them standing. The animals have raised me, and I know them. This male llama and I have only been together for 6 minutes, and I have gotten him mostly shorn off. This is great for me because the last bits are the hardest.
Unplug me? Yeah.
He is not liking those legs, and while I'm off fixing my cord, he tells me just how mad he is. Over the last 15 years, I've been able to differentiate between an animal who is terrified and one who I'm negotiating boundaries with. In the industry, males are known for being overactive during the leg shearing, but it's our company policy to get as much off of every animal. And over my professional experience, if the first time isn't perfect, after about 3, they have it down. That's why I continue to push as long as it's safe. I'm under the belief that I would not like to carry mats on any part of my body, so if I can remove them from them and prevent it, that's a success. Little is known about sedation in camelids, and I find it to be an inhibitor in the experience. But working with the animal in this way can be dangerous. If you're not aware of their typical behavior, ending up underneath them is a real possibility. But diligence is rewarded as he begins to relax as I finish up boxing this leg. I'm thrilled with this and leave the area while he's still standing. It doesn't bother me if he chooses to yell while I finish up.
Oh, we're so mad.
But while he's standing still, I run my clippers over different parts of his body to show him that doing it doesn't mean he has to react. He even gives me a blow under the belly with no movement. While I clean him up and move to the head, take a moment to appreciate those very pointy, thick fighting teeth. Wow, look at those fighting teeth.
That's what I was looking at.
I definitely pissed him off.
You touched him.
I made him naked. He'd probably be mad too. These last couple swipes of the shears are to teach him not to be head shy and to clean up that stupid halter mullet.
All right, big boy.
Then I pass the torch to Darian because she does the best job floofing tails. But keep an ear out because she's about to find something.
Ooh. Was it a stick or wire?
Stick, I think. Yeah, it's a stick.
It's pretty common for us to find debris inside a fiber, especially the overgrown type. Thankfully, it was just a stick. Sometimes we run into wire, and that can lead to a dangerous machine lockup.
Can you pull that stick out? Yeah, I'm gonna try. All right.
With a beautiful bow on our new package, he's ready to go back to the pasture.
Can I put him with this herd?
Overall, he didn't do too bad for being a 4-year-old that's never been shorn in his whole life. He acted pretty typical for any male llama, didn't like his legs touched, but tolerated everything else great. I really think that he's going to get used to it, and after a couple of years, he's going to be used to the routine. But anyways, it's not super heavy, definitely not as heavy as a sheep fleece, but let's see what we got here. 8 pounds, 8.5 pounds. Compared to how light a normal llama fleece is, which we're gonna have some that are quite a bit lighter today to compare to, but I imagine that's pretty significant. It had a bunch of burrs and debris in it, but really was light and fluffy. It wasn't like dense mats like I've seen on other ones. So overall, not too bad. Probably perfect timing for this guy right before it got too uncomfortable. And now he's definitely gonna be able to handle that Texas heat better. So anyways, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Cheer on.